for me to get him out of the car seat, and he just told me, he said, but I won't hurt him, and he just took off. But he had a gun, and my big thing is they were screaming, hollering, crying, and I'm just scared that he just lost his patience or something,
I plead to the guy, to the man, me and my wife plead to him to please return our children to us safely and unharmed.
Of murder. Police say Smith admitted killing her sons, 3-year-old Michael and Alexander, who was just over a year old. The Union County Sheriff says Smith is repentant and heartbroken. Her car was pulled from a murky lake Thursday. The bodies of the boys were strapped in the back seat. An autopsy revealed the boys were not killed beforehand.
Yes, you guys, you heard that right. She drowned her babies. She strapped them into the back of her car and drove them into a lake and left them to suffer as the water entered their poor little lungs. Can you imagine that? Being strapped down and you're drowning? This woman is a damn demon, and I hope she never gets out of jail. But listen to this People article. They updated this. You know, they went and saw how she was doing after murdering her kids. This is the 25-year update. So, according to People, sex, drugs, and sickness inside Susan Smith's life in prison after drowning her sons. A look at the notorious convicted murderer's life in prison after she drowned her 2 sons in 1994. On October 25th, 1994, Susan Smith told police that she had been carjacked by a black man who had taken off with her 2 young sons still in her car. For 9 days, she made tearful pleas for their safe return. But it was all a lie. As her story began to unravel, Smith admitted that there was no carjacker and that she had left her car, she had let her car roll into a lake with Michael 3 and Alex 14 months still strapped in their car seats. Her motive? She was secretly dating a man who did not want children. The story became international news, even landing on the cover of People. Smith was convicted of 2 counts of murder and is serving a life sentence in Leith Correctional Institution in Greenwood, South Carolina. In 2019, 25 years after the incident, People obtained records that showed her incarceration had been marred with disciplinary infractions for self-mutilation, drug use, and possession of narcotics or marijuana. Each infraction resulted in the loss of privileges, including loss of visitation, canteen, and telephone privileges. In 2000, Smith, then 28 years old, was disciplined for having sex 4 times with 50-year-old prison guard Houston Cagle. He pleaded guilty and spent 3 months in jail. The following year, a prison captain, Alfred Rowe, also pleaded guilty to having sex with Smith and was sentenced to 5 years probation. I'll put their photos at the end of the video, you guys. Twice in 2010 and once in 2015, she was disciplined on drug charges, losing privileges for more than a year. But Smith claimed she was misunderstood. In 2015, Smith wrote a letter defending herself to the State, a South Carolina newspaper. Mr. Cahill, I'm not the monster society thinks I am, she wrote to the reporter, Harrison Cahill. I am far from it. Let me just interject. She says she's not the monster people think she is, but she is the monster that we all think she is. I don't give a damn what happened in her life before she did this to those children who were her flesh and blood that she carried in her womb and gave birth to. Whatever happened to her in her life should have made her more protective of her children, not some selfish bitch that killed them. Back to the article. Something went very wrong that night. I was not myself, she wrote. I was a good mother and I loved my boys. There was no motive, as it was not even a planned event. I was not in my right mind. But Smith's ex-husband and the father of the boys told People in 2010 that he has never fully recovered from the pain. There's always this nagging and gnawing heartache, David Smith said. It's there every day, even if I'm not always conscious of it. Yeah, that's what a parent or someone who loved those children would feel. Even if you were a damn neighbor, you would feel every now and then. You may think about, I wonder what these children would be like today. How would their lives have gone had that monster not taken their lives? Just imagine how multiplied that pain would be if you were the father finding out that your wife killed your children. I mean, that's something this man will never get over. Back to the article. In 2017, Smith was working in the prison as a landscape laborer, a step down from a position she previously had as a senior groundskeeper. In March 2018, she was promoted to a ward keeper assistant, in which she is responsible for the daily operation of her housing unit. At least 6 times from 2017 to 2019, Smith had severe enough medical issues that she was transferred to another facility for outpatient treatment. The nature of her treatment had not been made public. In March 2022, People gained access to letters Smith had written to a long-distance boyfriend, whom she said she wanted to marry if she was freed from jail. You don't deserve it, bitch. No, you don't. She does not deserve any freedom. She needs to stay there and remember what she did to her children. It's not like somebody else killed her kids. She did it. She's imagining the normalcy of a married life, a relative of Smith told People. She wants everything in life that she believes has passed her by. Well, it passed you by because you threw it all away. You rolled it into the lake and you left it there to drown. That was your future. Those children. Man, this is so aggravating to think about this animal wanting a future after she took her kids' future from them. People viewed parts of 2 letters she sent to the man. I can't wait to build a life with you, Smith wrote in one letter. Leave the past mistakes behind and start fresh, just you and me. What? Leave the past mistakes? What does that mean? Leave the memory of your children behind? Never think of them again? Start over? If any man marries this woman, do they even care about themselves? What if she miraculously gets married and gets pregnant again and decides, oh, she wants to have an affair, and she does the same thing to the new kid, right? You can't trust her. Anyone that is willing, able, capable of taking the lives of their 2 small children does not deserve a second chance in society. Now, if forgiveness from God, that is between her and God. We know that God is able to forgive for so many things. But as a human being, I don't think she deserves a second chance in society because she's a cold-blooded murderer of her own children. She needs to stay there and remember for the rest of her days what she did. Back to the article. However, by October 2022, Smith and the man had stopped corresponding, according to one of Smith's family members. Yeah, that fizzled out. The family member told people they are no longer corresponding. It's over. And that's the end of the article, you guys. She wanted a normal life after taking the lives of her 2 small children. Isn't that something else? So people had a second part to this article, and they talk about her being in prison for killing her 2 kids, and the headline is that she is no longer corresponding with that long distance boyfriend. So let's pick up right there. Susan Smith had been writing letters to a man, but the communication has now stopped. It's over, a family member tells People. Susan Smith, the notorious South Carolina mother who killed her 2 sons in 1994, is eligible for parole in late 2024. But she won't be with her long-distance boyfriend if she gets out of prison. So you guys, I'm going to pick this up in a second video. This is just the preview. Let me know what you think about this B-I, okay, T-C-H in the comments. And I don't regret using that word, because that is exactly what she is. She is a selfish, evil child killer. And what makes it worse than being a child killer, if you can get worse, is that they were her children.